Welcome to the place inside. I'm your host, Laurence. I want you to discover the innate powers of your body-mind makeup. We were endowed by the divine by a whole range of paranormal powers. The most powerful technology that exists is within you, because you have a direct connection to, we can call it the center of the galaxy, if you will, or the ultimate reality, but you have a direct connection to it. And that connection is within inside you. You have innate abilities to manage natural, paranormal, and supernatural powers. We must be both cognitive and supernatural at the same time. Now, today we just want to talk about delusional mind parasites. This is a problem for many people, and I know many people struggle with it. And many people have it and they don't know that they have the parasites. Delusional mind parasites incarnate themselves. Now notice I say the word incarnate themselves in many people. Okay, they can take over a human being's or an alien's mind. Okay, but they cannot be the people or the aliens themselves. Clairvoyantly, I can see these mind parasites taking up residence in people's heads. I can literally see this. They live in the skull, and they treat humans as little more than vehicles, cars, if you will, to help them move around. Secondly, they project to the human in which they inhabit a world view. That's very important. We'll get into that in a moment. Almost derisively, and certainly with an air of superiority, they tell their human hosts something like this: your life is nothing but an illusion. I control you and all that you do. I create a virtual reality for you. And that's what I was getting at before. The world view. They start to make you think that the world is such and such a way, when in fact it isn't. When the world is actually very different from the way they are making you perceive it. Remember that. It is so important. They truly bewilder people, and most people have no idea that they are just a type of cyborg for these delusional mind parasites. Well, I already hear you asking the question, how do I rid myself of a parasite that has invaded my mind? Well, first, by remembering every day that you are superior to it. Remember that direct connection I told you about that you have with the center of the galaxy, the ultimate reality, the divine. However you want to represent that to yourself. But you are superior to it, because these mind parasites don't really have a full life of their own. They're kind of like machines in a way. Your origin is in what I call the imperishable realm, where the only true power dwells, superior to the parasites of chaos and their universe. Now, second, you must constantly develop your intelligence. Yes, amazingly, huh? You have to have clear thinking. If your intelligence is weak, then you are prone to deviate into this artificial reality created by the parasite. In other words, you're not clear enough to realize that the reality that's being created for you is an artificial reality. Doing mind work that involves intense concentration helps tremendously to develop your mind, to strengthen your mind. No matter if it be puzzles, chess, calligraphy, learning a musical instrument, or poring over a deep book on a profound subject, all this will protect you because it is exercising your mind. Lastly, I want to clarify this and make a strong point here. If you believe in religion, fine, but please pick a religion that forces you to give up your own innate sense of right and wrong, and then you have made a tremendous mistake. Okay? It is fine to have religious beliefs, but if they're telling you to give up what you intuitively sense as right and wrong, then get the heck out of there. Your own innate sense of what is sensible and what is absurd. You know this, you can tell this, but you have to be in touch with yourself, okay? You need both clear thinking and clear emotions. Now, when you can no longer distinguish the difference between, say, wearing a huge gold chain around your neck or a large ring and, say, for example, a book with great wisdom inside it, well, you are lost if you don't know the difference between those two. The parasite, in this case, has won. When you prefer the company of shallow people to that of loving, truthful, sincere, and loyal friends, then again the parasite has won, my friend. Every day, if you fear you are infected, remember they are inferior to you. And fear is the greatest mind freak. That will also open the doors to the parasites. I advise you strongly to take up a spiritual path if that is what you are interested in, but a path of direct connection to the divine. This is known as mysticism, and the people who practice these spiritual practices are called mystics. Do not believe. Instead, know. Pick a spiritual path that leads you to know directly the divine, to have a direct experience of the divine. I advise you to investigate the Kundalini, very important here. And as you know, I am a Sufi master, so I suggest strongly you investigate Sufism, dervishes, and then finally there is the Kabbalah and the Kabbalists. Very mystical, very profound. Don't get involved in extremist religions or spiritual groups. They can masquerade in all different shapes and forms. But listen to your intuition. Stay away from all extremes, because that is precisely how delusional mind parasites will invade your mind. I want to quote from John Lamb Lash's new book, Not in His Image. But remember, too, that as amazing and fascinating as what John has to say about the Gnostics, also with that, too, do not become obsessed. Do not become extremist in your views about the Gnostic system that he is portraying. Learn from it. But anyway, this is what he has to say. Quote, "The way out of the trap is to discern what is genuinely human in our minds and what is inhumane, stupid, mechanical, blind, imitative. In short, we must understand human potential in order to see how it is distorted and subverted. Imagine, for instance, that you never heard Beethoven's Fifth Symphony played as it really is, but only a distorted version with the notes totally deformed. You could only know that the music was distorted if you knew the true, undistorted version. Likewise, we must realize our authentic minds, our true human potential, in order to see how we are deviated. This is the challenge of the predators." Unquote. Of extreme importance in cleansing your brain of the parasite is to visit nature. Better to live actually in natural surroundings. This is also highly recommended by Rudolf Steiner. If you cannot live in natural surroundings, go as often as possible, whether it be to the lake, the beach, the forest, the mountains. Go camping, be out in nature, commune with the earth. As ufologist, you must be rigorous in your discernment between fantasy and actual benign alien visitors. You may be realizing here that what I'm talking about is that the mind parasites look for your Achilles heel. In other words, your weakest point. This is also the way black magic can be worked against you. The mind parasite looks to see what you cannot control. Are you obsessed with porn, alcohol, marijuana, crack, conspiracies, UFOs, food, one-night stands, sugar, sex, religion, whatever? Remember, I have said it over and over again, no extremes. The middle path is the way of protection from mind parasites. Extremes open the way for the delusional mind parasites to enter. Are you addicted to sweets, watching TV? Are you addicted to thinking, gaming, reading, the internet? That is how the parasites can enter, through your weakest point. That is how confusion, insanity, and the loss of your connection with the divine results. If it feels so good that you can't do it in moderation, you are vulnerable, especially anything that leads to excessive fantasy. If you have any questions, I want you to email me, and I'll put up my email address on the information section of the video. Also, avoid complicated maze-like situations. Parasites love to involve you in maze-like conspiracies and thoughts that are just circling round and round in your mind, and you can't stop. Again, there is nothing wrong with, say, reading through a complex and difficult book. This is good. This strengthens the mind. But if your thoughts become so tangled, confused, and if this book leads you to read more and more complicated books that just lead to more mazes and dead ends, well, then you are putting yourself in danger. Evil loves complications and leading you through endless corridors and dead ends and mazes. I believe in conspiracies. I love movies, enjoy sex, love music, books, nature, hiking, but I don't become obsessed with any one of these things. Remember, life is a spectrum. There is so much living to do. Don't make your life into just one channel. There's stories all throughout the Middle East about a funny fellow by the name of Mullah Nasruddin. And these are teaching stories, and Mullah always seems to get himself involved in pretty funny problems. One night, Mullah Nasruddin is looking for something next to a lamppost in the street. So a friend is going by and he asks, "What's he doing?" The mullah says, "I'm looking for my key, which is lost." The friend decides to help and searches the ground under the lamppost. Half an hour later, the friend asks, "Are you sure you dropped your key here?" Nasruddin replies, "Oh no, I lost it inside my house, in my bedroom." The friend screams, "Why in hell's name are we searching here?" Nasruddin smiles and says, "There's much more light here." Well, we often search outside ourselves when the key to solving all our problems and challenges are inside ourselves. Okay, so I've given you a lot of powerful techniques that you can use, and you need to start to use, because believe me, there are plenty of people walking around and they are not even aware that they are just cyborgs for these delusional mind parasites. Please stay away from fantasy. If you find yourself just lost in one fantasy after another, I'm talking about all kinds of fantasies, then you are in trouble, my friend. You need clear thinking. You need to develop your mind, and you need to make contact with the center of your being, which leads directly to the center of the universe. That's all for tonight. We will be in contact soon.